Bhutto has been calling his delegation as a peace delegation, and it is quite ironical that Pakistani delegation, is speaking the language of peace. It's like the devil quoting from the scriptures. For a country that is trying to create fake heroes by promoting failed generals to field marshals, they don't know what true leaders look like. Of late, Pakistan has been surviving on cheap Chinese imports, including their military hardware, which spectacularly failed in the battlefield. So perhaps it is hard for them to digest high quality, high caliber military hardware as well as strong democratic leadership on the other side of the border. So I wouldn't fault Mr. Bhutto for the comments that he made. But I can tell you that in the last few days in the countries that we visited, as well as the discussions that we had today with various senators and congressmen, there is absolutely no sympathy towards the Pakistani cause.
In the spirit of a bilateral dialogue with the country concerned. And every time that anybody asks, and that includes on the Hill, will you talk to the Pakistanis, or would mediation help so you can promote dialogue? Our answer is very clear. We cannot talk to people who are pointing a gun at our heads. And frankly, until and unless there is a serious effort being made by Pakistan to dismantle the infrastructure of terrorism, to arrest some of the well-known figures who are on not only the United Nations Committee's list, but even in the US State Department's designated terrorist list. If they can't be arrested, if their bank accounts can't be frozen, if their training academies, training camps can't be shut down, if all of these things won't be done by Pakistan, why should we talk to them? It's very simple. I mean, if your neighbor attacks your children with their attack dogs and then says, let's talk, will you talk to them until they put away the attack dogs, or euthanize them, or lock them up in a kennel, or leash them at least? They've done none of those things. So for us, the message was very clear. No, we're not going to talk. And the reason we're not going to talk is because of the way they're behaving, not because we don't like to talk. I often say we can talk to Pakistan in practically every language they speak there. We have no shortage we don't need a third party to come between us and help us talk to them. But we won't talk to them until they give us some indication that they're worth talking to. I pointed out the entire experience of 2003 to 8, which was the peak of dialogue between India and Pakistan. Relations were good, there was open dialogue going on, and there was back-channel talks between Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's envoy and General Musharraf's envoy. In 2008, President Zardari's government came to power on a pro-peace with India platform. His foreign minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi was in Delhi on the day of 26/11 to sign a liberalized visa regime with India. What happened? So while you're talking peace with these people, having dialogue, and everyone is giving you great assurances, some other elements in that society, in that state, deep or whatever you want to call it, came and started killing, in our case, 170 of our citizens, and not just our citizens, Americans and other nationalities were also killed in Mumbai in 26/11. So what is the point of talking to people if they can't even control what their own instruments, agencies and elements they have created in their society? If they can't control what they're doing to us, why bother to talk to them? If people we talk to are unable or unwilling to actually give us the peace we're talking about, then why talk?
So just as a quick follow-up, have you had to dispel any, on your visits, have you had to dispel any sort of re-hyphenation of India and Bharat?
There hasn't been, because this answer is fully understood, first of all. Nobody has pushed back, not even senators and congressmen who asked this question, pushed back when we pointed this out. They understood the logic that you don't talk to people who are doing this to you. But on the whole question of hyphenation, I've pointed out repeatedly there can be no equivalence between a country sending terrorists and a country having its civilians killed, holidaymakers, tourists, men shot down in front of their wives and children because after being asked their religion. I mean, this kind of thing has been absolutely reprehensible, outrageous. Second, there can be no equivalence between people who are attacking and those who are defending themselves and their people and their territory and their sovereignty. There can be no equivalence. So there's no question. I said this is not about India and Pakistan. This is about India and terrorism inflicted on India. So India will act against terror, wherever it comes from. If it's coming from Pakistan, tough. They should deal with their own problems. And then they are going around, I understand, this delegation saying, oh, but we are also victims of terrorism. We have lost more lives to terrorism than India has, and so on. The question we turn around and say, whose fault is that? As Hillary Clinton famously said 10 years ago, what did she say? You can't breed vipers in your backyard and expect it to bite only your neighbors. It's the old classic lesson of Dr. Frankenstein. You build a monster, it leaves your control. That's why they're now getting terrorist attacks by the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. But who created the Taliban from which the Tehreek-e-Taliban broke off? We all know the answer to that. So let Pakistan look inside itself. Let it do some serious interior reflection before it goes around pleading innocence and deniability and everything else.
So can I just add?